Let's step into Revelation 12 and Daniel 8, the third, where the dragon drags down the stars, and we uncover who that one-third really is. The remnant heaven calls its own, the people seen as stars above and trampled as hosts below. The story the prophets were trying to show us. Welcome to A Voice in the Valley. I'm glad you're here. Let's walk together for a moment, because sometimes the only way to understand prophecy is to slow down, breathe, and watch how the story unfolds from one prophet to the next. Come with me. Let's start where the turning begins. Zechariah 13:7-9 opens the scene with a sword. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered. But Zechariah doesn't stop there. He shows what happens after the scattering, and it's heavier than most people realize. He says 2/3 will be cut off and perish, but a third, a remnant, will pass through the fire, not destroyed, refined. That 1/3 is the same group the other prophets saw. Revelation 12:4. John says his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And Daniel saw the same scene a different way. Daniel 8:10. He grew great to the host of heaven and cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground and stamped on them. The stars cast down, the host trampled, the faithful pressed in the furnace of affliction. Zechariah calls them the third. And Zechariah says the fire is not for their ruin, but for their purification. I will bring the third through the fire, he says, and refine them as silver is refined, and try them as gold is tried. These are the same ones the little horn throwed to the ground and stamped on in Daniel, and the same ones the dragon cast to the earth in Revelation. And who is this host of heaven the prophets keep pointing to? Hebrews 12:22-23 tells us, But ye are come unto Mount Zion, and unto the city of the living Elohim, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to an innumerable company of angels, to the general assembly and church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, and to Elohim, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect. And Revelation 12:1 reveals it also. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And when John says the dragon's tail drew the third part of the stars, he is pointing to the same people Daniel saw cast down. The 12 stars are the 12 tribes, and the third is the remnant within them, the portion preserved, the portion refined, the portion heaven still calls mine. The 12 stars show the identity. The 1/3 shows the destiny. The host of heaven Daniel saw is the same 12-star people John saw, and the same 1/3 Zechariah says will pass through the fire and live. These are the same ones the little horn threw to the ground and stamped on in Daniel, and the same ones the dragon cast to the earth in Revelation. From earth's view, 2/3 will perish, just as written in Ezekiel 5:12, where a third falls by plague and famine, a third by the sword, and a third is scattered among the nations. And Ezekiel 6:9 says the survivors will remember their ways, their idols, their unfaithfulness, and they will loathe themselves for the pain they caused the Most High. But this is where the weight lands. This is where the heart of the Most High breaks down. I am broken with their whorish heart, which go a-whoring after idols. Ezekiel shows an Elohim who feels, an Elohim who says he is wounded by his people's unfaithfulness, an Elohim who is grieved by their scattering, an Elohim who takes no delight in their suffering. Every captivity hurt him, every rebellion pierced him, every lost child tore at his heart. This is not an Elohim swinging a sword in joy. This is a father watching his children walk into consequences he begged them to avoid. But in Isaiah 51:17, the Most High says, "Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Most High the cup of fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling and drained it out." 51:21-23. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. I will put this cup of trembling into the hand of them that afflict you, which have said to thy soul, Bow down, that we may walk over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that walk over. Because when the nations touched what was his, he recorded it. When they scattered his people, he remembered it. When they lifted themselves up in pride, he answered it. Because the land they claimed was not theirs, the inheritance they trampled was holy, and the people they cast down were the ones he calls his own. Because the 1/3 they threw to the ground, he is raising them again. The stars they cast down, he is restoring their shine. The remnant they tried to erase, he is refining in fire. Because the fire was never for their ruin, it was for their purification. The furnace where silver becomes pure, where gold becomes true, where the remnant becomes ready. If this spoke to you, share it, send it, let it reach who it needs to reach.